Christmas has come early this year, my friends, because Blizzard has finally done something. Anything, as a matter of fact, that could be considered content. The legendary content creator balance patch is aiming to break up the monotony while all of us are waiting for Overwatch 2. And for today's video, I decided to give every single one of those changes a rating. Now, this is not going to be your standard balance tier list, because if you checked out those patch notes, you already know that not all these changes are meant to be balanced. Some of them are just there to be funny, and some of them are there to experiment with ideas. So rather than judging them solely based on how balanced I think they are, I'm also going to rate them based on how good I think they are for making content out of them. You know, the highlight channel type hero changes that get Twitch chat excited. So on this tier list, at the very top, we have the holy grail of content changes, followed by S tier changes that I think could actually make it into the live game, just above the has potential rating that I believe could make it into the live game after a couple tweaks. Then we got the bottom ratings of it's alright, that's horrendous, and clearly this one isn't meant to be taken seriously. Yo, just a quick note, editing Cliff here. I noticed as I'm about to finish this video that Blizzard just added a bunch of new changes to the experimental, so yeah, this video is about the initial changes. Some of these things have actually been changed, like the Mercy thing at the end, so just so you know, this is not the most updated version. Just check out the PTR page. Jeez, it's so much fun. Just go play it, seriously. Top of the list, kicking things off with D.Va. I'm not very impressed. Clearly increasing melee damage from 30 to 100 in combination with a faster boost is completely busted, but it's kind of busted in a very boring way. The eject changes are obviously taking the piss. Who cares about 10% on DM? And yeah, all in all, I would say it's an alright change. It isn't offensively bad, it's just kind of boring. Now, the Orisa changes are on a completely different level. Ignore the HP changes, pay a lot of attention to the Christmas hat, and rejoice over the fact that we can finally headshot Orisa in what is supposed to be an FPS. I think decreasing the shield cooldown at the cost of barrier HP is an interesting idea. Allowing it to retain her speed while firing kind of sounds like a game changer, but I absolutely despise Hold as an ability in this game, so I'm not a fan of that getting buffed. All in all, I believe some of the Orisa changes have potential, and we definitely need the Christmas hat buff ASAP. Reinhardt. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Flats had a lot of ideas for that character. I'm very partial to Brawl and Rush comms. I'm kind of a Reinhardt fan for sure. I think I don't even have to dissect these changes because overall they're pretty solid. I don't know about buffing his barrier, but one-shotting somebody with a point-blank shadow is peak content, so I'm gonna give him S tier for that one. Roadhog is a bit of a weird case. Like, if it was just the whole hog changes, I would immediately call this the holy grail of content. All the other changes kind of seem like they're meant to make him balanced, but getting hooked will always be frustrating for the one on the receiving end, so I doubt decreasing the cooldown will find a lot of fanfare. Overall, especially with the change to his ultimate, I think this one has a lot of potential. The Sigma changes are straight S tier. I might be biased because just like Zenyatta, Sigma's floating around while tossing balls, but yeah, honestly, buffing accretion but making it susceptible to defensive cooldowns seems like a fair trade-off. The speed boost on Kinetic Grasp allows him to play more aggressively than just poking all the time, and I'm a big fan of removing his barrier altogether. S tier for Sigma. Winston's next, and I don't really have a lot to say about him. I think dealing additional damage to deployables is not a bad idea, but all these changes, much like D.Va's, are just kinda boring. So yeah, it's alright. Moving on to Wrecking Ball, I hate almost everything about this. Why would you allow him to power drive from slightly lower height when you increase his jump height by literally 100%? And none of the damage nerfs make up for the decrease in his cooldowns. Most of these changes just make an already annoying character even more annoying to play against. So yeah, biases in mind, I hate it and I think it's bad. Zarya's changes solidly fall into the boring category once again, but I do kinda see where they are coming from. With that said, the Old Fire knockback buff sounds absolutely obnoxious for an ability that can be spammed. I think we should be reducing the amount of booping abilities we have and not make them even more annoying. But that minor gripe aside, I think these changes have potential, they're just a bit boring. Moving on to the DPS category, Ashe's changes are just very solid overall. Increasing Dynamite's cooldown is a sensible idea, but if she gets 2 coach gun charges, it should no longer boop enemies, but only herself, and I think those are alright changes. I'm not sure about the Cassidy changes. The combat role idea seemed silly when it was first proposed, and I still think it seems very silly now. Sure, increases flashbang cooldown, why not? But this feels like a very half-hearted attempt at balancing what is considered a very strong and fairly annoying character in high ranks. Now, it's not offensively bad, but I must still put it into the bad category because I feel like if you're trying to nerf Cass, at least do it properly. I do not like the Bastion changes. Reducing his bullet spread is just trying to make him Soldier 2.0, and giving him more survivability while he can potentially one-shot squishies in his ultimate just seems very stupid to me. I know it's called tank configuration, but I always thought of his ultimate to be more of a glass cannon move, so yeah, I don't like these. The Doomfist changes are actually quite interesting. I feel like mathematically the buff to his passive far outweighs his nerf and base HP, and Meteor Strike rarely ever kills anything at all, so giving it a bit of a buff doesn't seem that outlandish. At first glance, glance, this seems like it buffs good Doomfist players while nerfing bad ones who just face roll, so at risk of me completely misinterpreting the ramifications of these changes, I'm gonna give it S tier. For Genji, I choose to ignore the Shuriken buff and chalk the cyber ability changes up as just being meant to be funny. Hanzo is a bit of a different story. Don't get me wrong, I hate storm arrows, and I hate the fact that he got the ability to lunge at all. But turning storm arrows into scatter storm arrows sounds absolutely hilarious. I can already see Hanzo mates filling Reddit to the brim with highlight clips of them killing people around corners, so definitely a holy grail of content. Junkrat changes are about as boring as it gets. Buffing Total Mayhem sounds funny at first because it rarely ever kills anyone, but all these other changes are just kind of nothing burgers. Few people want to see a universe in which Junkrat is viable, I get it, but even the funny part of the changes aren't that funny, so I'm gonna call this one bad. Faust changes are equally boring, but to the point where they just look like regular experimental changes. I'm gonna give it S tier, just because if that was to go live tomorrow, I would have never thought that's supposed to be a wacky content creator patch. So I guess that kind of makes them good, even if they are boring. I hate everything about the Reaper changes, and if you need me to explain why I hate them, then I don't think we can be friends. I guess the Soldier changes aren't that bad, I just also don't think Soldier really needed more help. Like, it's alright, they're sensible changes, I just wouldn't want them to go live because he already seems powerful enough at present. Dude, get the Sombra changes out of my face. Between window, bongo, discord, and damage boost, we do not need even more damage amplification in this game. Those changes are horrible. Feels like Symmetra only got a change for the sake of it, but sure, I don't hate it. In fact, I wouldn't mind seeing that one in the live game. Put it in S tier. Torbjorn got a bunch of meme changes to his hammer, which are funny, though I wouldn't hate seeing that turret nerf actually go live. Tracer is a bit like Soldier, where they're not completely unreasonable changes. I just don't think she needs them. Like, Trace is a bit of a difficult hero to play, and all these changes do is make her incredibly strong in the hands of good players and pretty good in the hands of really bad players. So the more I think about this, the more I hate them. Alright, I'm gonna be real, I barely even understand what these Widowmaker changes are trying to achieve. The grapple reset on Infrasight sounds like a solid content change, but yeah, I don't know, I don't think I would want to change Widow at all from where she is right now. Finally arriving at the support roster, and I gotta say, my Ana bias is immediately trying to overtake any sense of reason. I think allowing a reset on a cooldown as powerful as Sleep Dart is ridiculous, but also being able to nano yourself as an ultimate screw you to your DPS player sounds hilarious. I think this one has potential just as a fine I'll do it myself meme template. I'm gonna chalk Baptiste up as a meme change. I mean, look at it. Brig has some of the most interesting changes in this entire patch. Obviously Inspire's conceptually busted in Overwatch. Just hitting somebody, giving all of your teammates healing over time that persists even if you die, yeah, that's kinda dumb. But if hitting the enemies just reduces your repair pack cooldown, you still have to actively play the game, engage your brain, and find a way to make use of that. I think this one has a ton of potential, and more than anything, Blizzard should do some internal testing on a version of this idea. Lucio, my boy Lucio. Ladies and gentlemen, we have found the de facto holy grail of content changes in this patch. Reducing the old cost of sound barrier is only fair and just, but finally, Lucio gets to Goomba stomp enemies with his ultimate. Holy crap, this has so much content potential, it's actually not even funny. I want this, no, I need this in the game like yesterday. Mercy's unfortunately a bit of a mixed bag for me. I will say I have gone on record multiple times exclaiming my distaste for this character and her playstyle. Valkyrie extending on killing blows is 100% a content change that I approve of for the sake of memes alone, but being able to cancel res and refund 50% of its cooldown, I don't like that. Not even one bit. If you use a super powerful cooldown like res or immortality field, you should have to face the consequences if you choose to use it at a bad time. Imagine if Baptiste could just retract his immortality field and get 50% of his cooldown refunded. That would be stupid. So yeah, I'm not a fan. The Moira changes actually feel like a lot of thought was put into them. Conceptually, I love a lot of what I'm seeing here, and I would love for Blizzard to experiment with it. So while I don't think they are ready for prime time as is, they have a ton of potential. And that leads us at long last to my main hero, Zenyatta. I have a lot of opinions on this one. I'm gonna be real, I feel like a lot of complaints about my boy come simply from the fact that Brigitte makes him borderline unkillable. Like, people are suddenly just now complaining about how he gets wall hacks on discorded targets after that's been in the game forever, just because Zenyatta sees a lot of play, so here come the token nerfs. I will die on this rock. Zenyatta does not need nerfs. It's solely because of Brigitte that he seems overpowered. Discord Orb is important for him to duel flankers, and if you're a DPS player that believes a Zenyatta should just fall over dead the moment you approach the backline, then I have nothing else to say to you. Knowing that, I still feel like Zen would be fine if you dropped his discord from 25 to 20%. It is supremely annoying to play tank against Zenyatta, so I think that is a fair nerf. But to take away walls and make the orbs return twice as fast in the same breath is really stupid. Zenyatta already has a lot of target prioritization to manage while fending for his life. Why make that even more difficult? You don't want a situation like with Brig, where he can only be played by the best players in the game but feels useless anywhere below that. He has enough of a skill floor already without those arbitrary nerfs. Nerfing Transcendence Healing seems completely unnecessary, and instead giving it the ability to apply Discord orbs is so incredibly overpowered. I think these changes were made in a bubble where Brigitte is still overpowered, because if all that went live as is, it would make it easier for flankers to take Zenyatta out, which would be fair because Brigitte gives him so much survivability. But in combination with Brigitte no longer AoE healing, this will make Zenyatta a chore to play for anyone who isn't at least Grandmaster. But because I think the Discord nerf could give tanks some breathing room, and because being able to apply Discord to deployables and barriers is kinda neat, I'll put this one into has potential. As with every video on balance changes, even if they are meant to be wacky and over the top, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of discourse in the community, and I'm also very aware that my own takes are not necessarily the most popular ones. There's a reason I don't balance games. But hey, if you got some hot takes of your own, then feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Just make sure that you stay civil down there, or else the mod squad is gonna get really angry. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and definitely ring that bell icon to not miss out on my next upload. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and until next time, peace!